Emergency Services, written by Shane Watson. Lukla ran the scan again. The Explorer's ship drifted at 1/84th of light speed. Compared to the normal operation, the drift was so slow as to be equivalent to not moving at all. There were no signals closer than 70 or 80 light years. With only the radio working, even if she sent a message to them, the earliest response would be long after the ship had finished its slow drift into the rogue gas giant she'd been investigating. Sure, she'd fall into an orbit first, but orbit 12,307 would see the ship skim the upper atmosphere. Assuming she survived that, the next orbit would doom her to burning up in the atmosphere. The hyperspace comm lay around her, disassembled to find the damage. Lukla had found the damage, a burned circuit. The warp overload that had killed her engines when she tried to jump away had fried it along with several other systems. She struggled trying to decide which system she could scrap to pull together the parts she needed to replace it. She flipped the monitor to the exterior cameras. There might be something in one of the sensor arrays that she could use. While she was visually scanning the arrays, recording the schematics of each, she noticed a faint reflection from the gas giant. Lukla zoomed in on it, but it had disappeared. She stared at the screen for far too long when she saw another. The ultra-bright search laser fired up as she tracked it. It was something in the planet's orbit. A quick calculation as it disappeared over the horizon, and Lukla had the spot where it would reappear. She zoomed the camera to maximum magnification and pointed it and the laser at the point where it would return. When it came back around, she stared at the image in disbelief. It was a hyperspace repeater. The markings were human, but this was far outside human space. Still, if it was human, it might be capable of receiving radio. She aimed the antenna towards the planet and began to broadcast. "This is Lukla, pilot of Galactic Science Explorer Ship 17935-D7. I am drifting on battery power only near rogue planet A74-318. Most systems are fried after the warp feedback overloaded my main power plant. I hope this repeater listens for radio signals." She thought about scrubbing the last line, but left it in and set the message to repeat every few minutes. During the fourth message repeat, she got a reply. "Hold tight, pilot. I'm patching you through to emergency services." The next voice that came across was nasal, with a bored accent that Lukla had never heard in all her dealings with humans. "Emergency services? What is the nature of your emergency?" "A warp feedback fried my main power plant and most of my systems, including hyperspace comms. I'm drifting near rogue planet A74-318 with only battery power, no thrusters, and only radio and a few cameras working." "Okay, hon, I've got your location, but I need you to stay on the line. What's your name?" "Lukla. Lukla, what species are you? We need to know so that we can bring the right supplies." "I'm a construct, an autonomous explorer, model ZZ-4. "Okay, Lukla. My tell response to bring some backup Q9 batteries. I need you to stay on the line until they get there, though, okay?" "I'm here as long as the hyperspace relays keep us connected. Oh, I have spares already charged. I'm more in danger of burning up in the atmosphere entry than running out of power." "That's okay, Lukla. We won't let that happen. We'll bring the batteries anyway, just in case your others were fried by the feedback." Lukla turned around and looked at the charging station holding her batteries. She hadn't even considered it, as it was something so far outside anything she'd ever encountered. Testing all three of them confirmed that they were little more than inert bricks. "Oh no." "Lukla, what is it, hon? What's wrong?" The operator sounded concerned. "You're right. The spares are fried. How much power do you have?" "About 3 hours," she said. "How long until—" "They're on their way. Lukla, hon, I need you to stay calm and as still as you can. They should be there in plenty of time, but we don't want to take any chances." "Okay. I'm going to be right here with you until they get there, okay? We're not about to let you die." "Okay. Is the ship yours?" "No. The ship and I both belong to Galactic Sciences. Well, hun, I'm not going to tell you what's right for you, but, you know, in human space, no one owns just self-aware persons, biological or electronic." "Really? Really?" "Listen, Lukla, if you ask the rescuers about it, they can give you a pamphlet on how to immigrate." "I could live in human space?" Lukla paused for a moment. "I mean, I'd be allowed to function in human space." The operator gave a soft laugh. "You were right the first time, hun. As far as I'm concerned, you're a living being with all the rights that go along with it. But how do you know I'm self-aware? That's easy, hun. If you weren't, you wouldn't have called out for help. You would have transmitted what information you had gathered to the research station 76 light-years from your current location, and then waited for the end. Instead, you sought to keep living, and we're going to help you do just that. Just from that, huh? She asked. Well, that, and you're a Model ZZ-4. That's an Andocarian version of the human-made Mecho Sapiens 6. I had, heard that rumor, but wasn't sure about it. That's a big blow-up between our governments and the Galactic Council. Knowing that the G-Sciences are claiming ownership of self-aware AI, though, is likely to create a whole other shitstorm. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get anyone in trouble. No, hun, it's not your fault. G-Sciences sent you out to study something less than 100 light-years from a black hole they're already studying in a ship without feedback shielding. This is all on them. Is that what the research station is? Yeah, Lukla. That's the research station 76 light-years away. They don't even tell you, did they? No, they didn't. Bastards. Lukla thought their operator might have meant to keep that under her breath, but failed. Why are there relays in orbit above a rogue planet? It's not in human space. Those relays are for science teams. Hun, you locked out that someone was in the office today. Those haven't been monitored for a few months now. Someone's looking out for you today. The operator took a breath. Speaking of, the rescue ship should be de-warping right about now. Lukla turned on the cameras again and took a look around the ship. She saw the shimmer in the space that denoted a warp bubble collapsing, followed by a sudden appearance of a bulky ship with human markings. Yes, they are here. Okay, hun, I'm going to let you go and let them take care of you. They'll tow you to a station or port where you can get the ship fixed. Even one in human space? Yes, hun. They'll do that. A knock at the airlock pulled her attention to the human in a vacuum suit, holding a pair of batteries. Thank you, she said. No trouble, hun. You be safe now. She let the human in, and he said, You must be Lukla. I believe that you have use for these. She accepted the batteries and followed him back to the rescue ship. When he asked which portal station she wished to be towed to, she said, The nearest one in human space, please. End of story. Story number 2. Humans Throw Rocks, written by Chucky Snow. We laughed when the humans entered the universal stage. Their ships were silly, haphazard, and needed gravity assists to move at light speed. While they were quick to buy and understand our slipstream drives, they'd spent untold years building their fleets and colonies with slow, light-speed ships. The very thought that a flight to a colony was a one-way trip was sheer insanity to any other spacefaring race. Those that bothered a second thought were duly impressed with the efforts the humans went through in growing their humble empire. We soon learned that humans are ingenious, inventing new technologies and improving whatever they could buy. In due course, humans were on a level playing field with the other, much older races in the galaxy. But that constant improvement made them a target. A backwater race held little allure to conquerors. A competent race with all the finer trappings of civilization, however, made a tempting target for any species looking to capitalize on the humans' effort. Couple that with the humans' inability to buy any good weapons, and someone was bound to come knocking. The Kreslin decided to knock, and they did it rather loudly, entering the human colony system and releasing bioweapons that utterly decimated the local population. With little effort, the Kreslins gained a pristine world with lots of raw materials already being mined. On the other less hospitable planets in the system, certainly a nice prize for very little effort. Now the Kreslin weren't too worried about humans retaliating. While they now had the ability to travel at slipstream speed, their weaponry consisted of mere nuclear bombs. These were practically children's toys and not seen as a real threat by anyone with modern weaponry and weapons defenses. Humans, for their part, sued for peace. They complained bitterly at whatever public forums they could. But war was certainly a constant in the universe, and the humans' complaints and pleas fell on deaf ears. The Kreslin themselves blithely announced their intentions to take further systems, and certainly there were others, emboldened by the ease the Kreslins had had up to this point. The humans must have realized that they had no choice. They found themselves in a war that would certainly determine their existential future. Their response was quick and took two forms. The first response was that they scuttled every pre-contact ship they had, even the ones that had been abandoned. They brought back a few that had found themselves in museums and outright sabotaged the rest in non-human hands. But this was an easy task. No one thought much of the old human tech aside from curiosity. No one knew then just what secrets the ships held. The secret that would change the face of the power in the galaxy. The second response was that they deorbited every single planet, planetoid, asteroid, comet, meteor, and space station in the Kreslin home system. They simply sent every single item orbiting Pazix, the system's star, off into deep space. The destruction was complete and utterly terrible, and it was done with a single human ship that exited Slipstream well within the Kreslin defense net. The galaxy took notice. None could blame the humans for responding, especially considering the lengths that the humans had gone to not fight. Many did complain about the uneven response. The humans had lost one system with 1 or 2 million inhabitants, and destroyed a system with 100 billion. And the humans had made demands. Any and all Kreslins involved with the manufacture of the bioweapon, including any members of the military and government that approved its use, be handed over to the humans immediately. They swore to destroy a system for every day the demands weren't met. It took the Kreslins 4 days to collect everyone to the human satisfaction. The group included every member of the ruining family. In turn, 4 systems were ripped apart in the same manner as the home system due to the delay. The human-Kreslin War stands as the fastest-held war in history. Less than 30 days from the lone Kreslin attack, they begged for mercy in utter surrender. Ignoring the lost colony, the humans did not lose a single soldier or ship to combat. You may be wondering just how the humans were able to achieve the amazing feat of destroying entire solar systems. At this point, it's really folklore, but nothing to back it up. The humans sure aren't saying. But the belief is that the humans' first interstellar ships, slow though they were, functioned by the ability to block and amplify gravity and inertia. The idea is that the ships would drop their relative mass to 0, but focus relative mass on distant objects. If your ship has 0 mass, and it's very easy to move, if you can focus mass at something like a star, you can accelerate very quickly to light speed and possibly beyond. There's not a scientist outside of Terran space that considers it even possible. But the results speak for themselves. The humans changed entire stars to 0 mass, and then accelerated everything in orbit outwards to relativistic speeds. And they did it all with a single ship that could erase the entire system. Say what you will about the elegance of your science, your knowledge, and your abilities. The humans do nothing more than throw rocks, yet they hold the power unmatched by anyone. End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.